You know what? Honestly, I'll just be thankful to have a minute to get this shelf back in order. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife, and today I am taking you through my November TBR, picked with the help of my friend's TBR game. Every month I sit down and I let a spinner wheel with all of the episodes of Friends in it decide what 5 books I'm going to concentrate on for the upcoming month. November is one of the special months. Because there is something going on in November, I pick out a couple of these episodes myself, and then I will let the spinner wheel take over. Because Thanksgiving is in November, I decided to put a couple of Thanksgiving related episodes on, and then we left the rest to the lap of the gods. November has another little quirk to it though. For November, I am going to be concentrating solely on my Netgalley shelf. I don't even want to tell you how bad the state of the nation is with Netgalley, but trust me, it's pretty bad. I have a really bad habit of requesting books, then I'll get them approved and I'll be so excited to read it, and then I will just forget that the book even exists. It goes into a completely different realm once I've gotten it. So for the entirety of November, every single book that I'm going to read will have started out as a Netgalley approval for me. Starting off with one of the Thanksgivings episodes, and that is the one with all the Thanksgivings. For this, you need to read a book that is set in the holidays. I have gone with Christmas Fling by Lindsay Kelk. Now, I've had an up and down with Lindsay over the last couple of years, but I'm hoping that this is going to be right back up on top. This is about Laura, who has been planning to spend the Christmas period flat sitting for a stranger, but things start to take a turn when she meets this stranger, Callum, and his family. They mistake Laura as Callum's girlfriend, and so instead of spending Christmas in his flat with a tin of roses and a bottle of wine, she's going to be spending Christmas at his massive family home in the Scottish Highlands. Laura was only really expecting to kind of get along with Callum, but when she sees him in his natural habitat and when she spends a little bit more time with him, she realizes that he is hot, that he's funny, and that he's basically everything that she's been looking for in a partner. So is their fake Christmas fling going to stay fake for very long? For the one with the late Thanksgiving, you need to read a book that you meant to read last year but you never got around to. For that one, I am going with The Favourites by Lane Fargo. I've heard so many people talking about this one, and I feel like it's time for me to actually give it a go. This is kind of like Daisy Jones and the Six, but in the world of figure skating. It's about Kat and Heath. They have been childhood best friends. They met each other in foster homes, and they have always had a great connection on and off the ice. But at the Olympics, a shock incident on the ice completely severs their relationship, and it brings them further apart than they've ever been. 10 years later, a tell-all documentary is about to come out because Kat is finally ready to tell her story. I am so intrigued by this book. I've heard so many people talking about it, and I really love that kind of documentary story type. So let's see if this is going to work for me just as well as Daisy Jones did. For the one where underdog gets away, you need to read a book that is a little bit underrated. For this one, I've gone with Burn After Reading by Katherine Ryan Howard. I have really enjoyed the thriller that I've read from her, 56 Days. This is going to be my second foray into her books, and I am very intrigued by the concept of this one. It's about Jack, who ran into his burning home to try and save his wife, but tragically, he was just a little too late. Unfortunately for him, it comes out later that Kate was dead long before the fire ever started. It is now a year after the incident, and Jack is ready to tell his story in a tell-all book, but he needs a little bit of help writing it, so he enlists the writing talents of Emily. Emily, however, has got her own secrets to keep. I am so intrigued by this book, and I am really excited to discover if Katherine Ryan Howard is actually a writer that works for me. So, onto the spinner wheel. First that came out was The Run with Ross's Girlfriend. We need to read a book that you got for free. For November, this was pretty much a free space. I could fit in any book that I wanted. So I went with something a little bit cozy and a little bit seasonal, and I went with Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. I read Legends and Lattes about 2 years ago or so, and I loved it. Now, I have heard a couple of things about Bookshops and Bone Dust in that because it is a prequel to Legends and Lattes, some people haven't been so invested in the romance here because you kind of know what's going to happen to it. But I'm going to try and go in with an open mind. It follows Viv once again and takes place before the events of Legends and Lattes. She has been injured on the battlefield and has been sent away to the town of Merk so that she can re-heal and lick her wounds. While she is in Merk, she does a couple of volunteer sessions at the local bookstore and starts to get to know some of the people in the town, including the bookshop's very grumpy proprietor. I am so ready to go back into this world. I'm so ready for something that's going to be cozy and that I can wrap up in the couch. And I am so excited to see how this book is going to go for me. For the one with the ultimate fighting champion, you need to read a book that you will fight somebody to get the last copy of. For this, I am going with People Watching by Hannah Bonham Young. I read her book Out on a Limb in September and I really enjoyed it, so I am ready to see if this is an author that's going to work for me. It's following Prudence, who lives in the small town of Baysville in Ontario, and she's pretty happy with her small town life. She works at her father's gas station, she writes poetry in her spare time, and she's also a carer for her mother, who's been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. When Milo comes into town, he's not expecting to stick around for very long, but he's here on a bit of a family emergency, so it looks like he's going to have to start putting down roots. There is a chance encounter between Prue and Milo, and he is determined to get to know her a little bit better, but Prue has always gotten her walls up, and she is not super ready to let outsiders in yet. I'm ready to watch Milo and Prue get to know each other a little bit better, and for Prue to kind of ease into this new friendship and new situation that she's got. I also really love Hannah Bonham Young's writing style, so let's just see if I continue to do so here. Those are the books that I have got my sights on for November this year. Is there any book that you cannot wait to get to in the next month? If you'd love to leave me a comment but you can't think of anything you'd like to say, then just leave me an emoji that reminds you of Thanksgiving. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.